How's it going, everybody? This is Cameron White with White Light Astrology, giving you guys your new moon in Sagittarius horoscope for Gemini. All right, Gemini, this is a big new moon for you guys because it's happening in your 7th house, where Jupiter is now, and I'm sure it's been a big topic for you now for a little while. So the 7th house is all about relationships, both intimate, meaning marriage, partnership, stuff like that, but also on the level of one-on-one relationships, even with just friends. You could have a big group of, friends, but the 7th house is kind of like you and the other person. So the 7th house being about relationships, we also have, Sagittarius rules it too. So it's a Jupiter ruled, area where we're talking about positivity, growth, happiness, abundance, things like that. Not to say just because you're a Gemini rising, all your relationships are great, but Sagittarius rules it and Jupiter has domain over it. So Jupiter is trying to give you guys some love here. Jupiter is also now in Sagittarius, where he's expanding this theme of relationships. He's bringing abundance. He's bringing a lot of good things into the realm of relationships. But this new moon in Sagittarius is really cleaning out that energy, because when Jupiter went in there, it could have felt very overwhelming, could have felt a lot going on. This new moon is cleaning out and clearing out that energy to reset your intentions, get clear on what path you're trying to take with relationships and where you want them to grow to, where you want them to evolve to. This new moon is going to be squaring Mars as Mars hits Pluto, not Pluto, I'm everywhere. Mars is going to be in Pisces, it's going to conjunct Neptune, and that's also going to be squaring this new moon in Sagittarius. And as we have Mars going through your 10th house, it's hitting Neptune, we're talking about the public eye, your career, your vocation, what you're kind of doing in this world. And as Mars is in your 10th house, you could be having some issues with your superiors or with your boss, or with just kind of troubles with your career and where you want to go. Mars hitting Neptune is going to give you a lot of clarity of what your next step is going to be with your career, with your job, with how things kind of look like on the outside. So this is going to be really good, but as it's squaring this new moon in Sagittarius in your 7th house, I think it does come back down to resetting those intentions with relationships that you have in your life. Being able to be like, hey, I'm going through a change. I need to also change the way that I am in relationships. The other big thing that's happening with this new moon is that it's going to be, it's not really doing anything to Mercury, but Mercury will be direct in Scorpio at this time, and that's going to be in your 6th house. So as Mercury goes direct in Scorpio, where he's seeing the truth, he's seeing things for what it is, he's seeing the issues, he wants to, it's not going to be super overwhelming, but Mercury's going to be very clear. I know I talked a lot about this in my monthly horoscope. But as he goes direct in your 6th house, where we're talking about your health, your habits, your routine, basically your service to this world, where you really want to do every single day, what you love to do every single day. As Mercury goes direct in your 6th house, I think this is when you're going to have that clarity of like, okay, this is what I want to do every single day. I'm seeing this truth. I'm ready to make that change in my career and, whatever that looks like. Not saying quit your job or anything like that, but you're probably going to have a lot of clarity with what you're kind of doing with your life. And this new moon in Sagittarius is just about, if you want to see that change, you have to really reset that those intentions and reset that energy with relationships. And I wouldn't even say rather than. Having Jupiter in your 7th house and having this new moon in your 7th house is like, what do you believe about relationships and where do you want them to grow to? Where do you want to take them? What are the positive things? Expand on the good people that you have in your life and really expand on those one-on-one relationships that you have, and you have no idea where they can take you as far as your career or what they can really help you establish, especially with Mercury going direct in Scorpio. It's kind of like finding the issues of communication, finding the problems of oh, this is what I'm scared to confront. This is what's hard to really speak out as far as that truth goes. As Mercury goes back into Sag, where you're going to be working on communication with relationships, this whole new moon in Sag is kind of realize the people that you have. Realize the people that, want to help you, that want to support you, and go from there. I do think this new moon is going to be very powerful for you guys, so I'm excited for it. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for liking, watching, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and I'll be seeing you guys for the next lunation.